Hello, my name is Sarah Schroeder and I'm the Senior EPR Data Quality Training Facilitator for Education at Bradford Teaching Hospitals. In this video, I will be going through how to discharge to Mortuary, as well as how to register into Mortuary, and then discharging from Mortuary. All SOPs for this process can be found via the EPR SOPs desktop icon. Once you've double-clicked onto the icon and navigated through to the appropriate trust, you can either locate the appropriate SOP by going into the applicable section, or you can do a document quick search located at the top of the screen. All titles for the SOPs covered within this video will be provided in the description box below, as well as timestamps if you wish to skip to this section. In order to discharge a patient as deceased, you will need to ensure that you have inserted the smart card and logged it in via the Cerner smart card. In order for this update to go on to this spine, a smart card must be used for this process. You can then navigate through to the ward where the patient is currently admitted, and the house icon on the bed will indicate the current clinical discharge status. This can be viewed by hovering over the house icon. From the discharge list, you can then access the patient and ensure that the status is either in a requested or started status, depending on the clinical details inputted by the clinicians within the power chart depart process. From here, you can hover over the patient, come into the drop down to the left of the patient, into the discharge, and if it has not already been started, you can then start the discharge. In this case, it has changed the status from a requested state into a started state. The next stage is to come back to this drop down, into the discharge. We are going to dispatch transport. This will request a porter to come and collect the patient. It has inserted the current location of the patient, and we then need to input where the patient is going to. As we are discharging the patient from the discharge list, it is recognising there is only one location to send the patient to, which is Mortuary BRI. Ensure that the mode of transport has been updated, as well as how many porters are required and any portering details. Pressing OK, this has updated the discharge to location. At this stage, you will then need to ensure that you wait for the porter to come and collect the patient. If you do complete the rest of this process prior to the porter collecting the patient, this will cancel the job from the porter's end, so they will not receive the task to come and collect the patient. As soon as the porter has come and collected the patient, you can then come back to the drop down, into the discharge, and complete discharge. This has now updated the status as patient departed, and it has also got a red dot on the house icon. The final step is to come back to the drop down and into PM conversation and discharge patient. This will launch the discharge conversation, and the discharge information should pull through from the clinical depart process within power charts. It is confirming if I have the correct patient and the correct encounter for the discharge, which I do, so I'm going to press yes to that. As the discharge information has already been populated within the clinical depart process within power charts, this does pull through the information within this window. The first drop down is the mortuary drop down. If the patient was sent to our mortuary department, you can select yes to this window, and this will put the patient onto the mortuary registration list. If the patient has not been sent to our mortuary department, then you would click no. Ensure that the discharge date and time is the exact same as the deceased date and time. From here, you can press OK. Bed status will change to dirty, and once it has been cleaned, it can then be marked back to available. In order to register a patient into mortuary, you must first ensure that the PM office has been opened, and from within the work list, you can navigate through to the mortuary registration list. From this window, you can then enter the relevant location details as well as the date range required. Once you have selected OK to the previous window, it will then launch with the patients who are currently on the mortuary registration list. Right-click onto the patient you wish to register into mortuary, and select the mortuary registration. Complete all of the yellow mandatory fields within this window. In my case, I need to select the mortuary location. Once all of the yellow mandatory fields have been completed, as well as all of the relevant information, you can then select OK. Patient is now registered in the mortuary department. In order to discharge a patient from mortuary, you must first ensure that the PM office has been opened, and within the conversation band located on the left-hand side of the screen, you can then select mortuary discharge. Search for the patient using the MRN number or demographic information, and select the mortuary discharge encounter and press OK. This will then launch the mortuary discharge conversation, in which you will need to ensure that all of the yellow mandatory information has been completed. Once all of the yellow mandatory fields as well as any relevant information has been entered, you can then select OK, and this has now discharged the patient from mortuary. Thank you for watching this video. If you have any questions relating to any of the processes covered within this video, you can contact any member of the team on the email addresses provided. Alternatively, you can email epr.dqtraining@bthft.nhs.uk. This email account is monitored by the entire EPR training team and it is monitored daily.